Hi, everybody. Welcome to High Desert Paranormal. Just wanted to give everybody an update on what has been transpiring. We have got an update. Sorry. We've got an update for the upcoming investigation. We will be investigating the Winnemucca Convention Center. It looks like it might be an all-nighter, which is cool. We are going to be pairing up with our cousin investigation team, Tri County Paranormal, and we are going to be. This is a pretty big location. I'm going to go over some history of this location that we are going to be investigating. Let's check it out real quick. All right, so if you have not seen this, we're going to check this out together. All right, so let me look up this location. Winnemucca. All right, so images. Trying to see if I can find a picture of it. I guess this is probably as good as it's gonna get, huh? Is that it? Yeah, that is it. Okay. All right. There it is. Let's share the screen real quick. Stop sharing. Okay, and let's share this one. All right, so right here you're looking at the convention center from Winnemucca Boulevard, just west of Bridge Street. And you have two floors, upstairs, downstairs, and I believe there's a basement that runs underneath this location. And we are going to be hitting this place up, and it's going to be amazing. Can't wait to do it. We are pretty stoked. I got the call this morning and going to be waiting to see when we are going to be doing it. It's going to be done next month in June. And we're just going to get the details from the manager, owner of the building to see what we're going to be allowed to do. And, you know, try and get an interview with them if they can, or just get a statement from them off camera about the happenings that are going on. Apparently, there have been some incidences with some spirits that are moving things around. Noises are being heard. Obviously, and just an eerie presence is being felt when people are there. So we're gonna go in there and check it out and figure out what's going on here. But thank you to the people who are allowing us to do this. I appreciate you a lot. My team appreciates you, my wife and I. And thank you to Tri County Paranormal for hooking this up. Like I said, we've got a lot of investigations going on, not just with my wife and myself, but with our sister or cousin. I like to call him a cousin. Teams in the areas, and Tri County is one of our cousin teams that we do paranormal investigations with, and we're going to be doing a lot of them with them. So stay tuned for that. Just wanted to get some insight for you guys on this location, so you guys can see what we are getting into. If you do not know, this site is pretty cool. And this is from Great Basin Sun. It's one of the newspapers here. And it says in the late 1800s, early 1900s in Winnemucca, including stories of violent activity and suicide paired with underground establishments for alcohol during the time of Prohibition and travelers wandering through during the Gold Rush days. Humboldt Museum director Dana Toth, not sure if I'm saying that right, but forgive me, and assistant Jerry Leone gave Chamber of Commerce members a curated spooky tour of downtown Winnemucca during the times of the Old West. Since there were no hospitals in the area of Winnemucca, doctors were called to attend to medical matters and surgeries in hotels. And you got to remember, back in the time, they had a doctor in town. Luckily, if they had more than one doctor who was facilitating that area, but you had incidences that would happen, and then somebody would ride off and go get the doctor and bring them to wherever the incidences were, and they weren't working in the best of conditions. So you can imagine the horrible horrible situations they were finding themselves in, having to try and help these people. The Winnemucca Hotel was one of the only places to take a sick or injured person between 1866 and 1886. Even after 1886, when the first official hospital-type establishment was open, several doctors, and this is funny because it says, and those pretending to be doctors, hey, I heard somebody needs a doctor. It's like, and then you got some dude, probably not even a freaking doctor, doing some crazy crap. Holy mess. Kept their offices and rooms at the Winnemucca Hotel. And I really, really wish that they would have saved the Winnemucca Hotel. It was a beautiful building. Got to see it right before they tore it down. Actually got to go inside and do a investigation, which we did not get on tape, but we did get some very, very, very interesting things inside of it. And I'm just glad to be able to have been inside of there. Not only that, but there were tunnels underneath the Winnemucca Hotel that we know of that were underground establishments that are still there, but they are covered up. We found alcohol bottles that were down there. I think it probably was something to do with a cellar. We did not get a chance to go in there, but when they tore the building down, they were accessible from the street level of where we were at. So yeah, Winnemucca Hotel was a beautiful place. Beautiful staircase that we got to see while we were inside of there. And I did not know of the history that I'm reading about of the Winnemucca Hotel while we were inside of it, but this is really cool. Over 100 people died either by medical causes or suicide at the Winnemucca Hotel. Holy hell. Wow. I'm not laughing at the incidents. I'm just laughing because I did not know anything about this at the time. And the location of where the Winnemucca Hotel is still there. It is now the office location of the lithium office. Um, uh, if you don't know where that's at, it's right behind Brew 95. In that dirt lot there. Well, it's not a dirt lot now, but it's a parking lot in a building that they put up for that office there. The Winnemucca Hotel sat at the corner of Bridge and First Street. There you go. And was recently demolished a couple years ago, actually. The Bar of Many Murders sat on the corner of Bridge and Second Street for 113 years, and this is going to be right where I showed you that picture, the convention center. Um, it is actually where the convention center parking lot is now. So the let me draw a picture of it so you can kind of get a visual. I mean, I'll show it to you on the map if you guys want me to, but it's just easier because I don't want to be tabbing through this. Um, so you have the convention center building and you have the parking lot. You have the parking lot here. Um, the building entrances that you saw were right here. Okay, so that picture I showed you was taken from this side of the building. Okay, and Winnemucca Avenue was right here. And if you go down Bridge Street, this right here is the parking lot. This is where the old brewery sat. But this location is going to be on that same property that we're going to be investigating. It said the Bar of Many Murders sat at the corner of Bridge Street and Second, where I just showed you, for 113 years. The actual name of the establishment changed throughout its history, but its nickname came from 8+ murders that occurred there and countless of other bloody brawls that spilled out into the city streets. On September 18th, 1877, bartender James Hubler was shot in the back of the head at the bar. Holy crap. The Silver State newspaper reported his brains were exposed as a result of a 2-inch wound to his skull. Dr. Hansen expected him to recover as long as the inflammation did not set in. However, he did die 7 weeks later from his injuries. Another man was shot in the forehead on the street in front of that bar in a fight and died 8 days later. The Silver State Saloon, Grand Saloon, was built in 1878 by Yaz Pickard and also had rooms used by doctors and beds for the ill in the 1870s. The saloon was located in the area where Phillips Furniture is located. You got to understand something, folks. This town is so rich in history that for us as a paranormal investigative group, this is like literally a gold mine in a gold town. We have locations here that are so rich in tragic incidences and death and occurrences that happened that a lot of people do not understand or cannot fathom lifestyles of these people who lived at this time. And you got to understand something too. We had underground towns underneath the city and tunnels that ran underneath the town where the Chinese were living because they were not allowed to be seen in and around town. And that was just something that happened. If you can remember the show Deadwood, where you had the owner and operator of the brothel bar, just think of that and think Winnemucca. Not as rowdy and crazy and unlawless, but it was. But just think of the scenarios that happen around and in town and how things were back then. And that's exactly what you could think of. Okay. In November of 1884, George Castro laid in a bed there for nearly 2 weeks, recovering from a gunshot wound he received as a result of a dice game gone bad. Dr. Hansen tended to Castro here and initially thought he would die. Surprisingly, he recovered and went to his assailant's trial. Good for him. In 1905, a fire demolished most of the block along Bridge Street. Prior to the fire, the location of Bridge and 2nd Street was home to the Unples, just like I said. Speakeasies and boxing rings. If you guys did not get a chance to see us investigate the Be Still body piercings with our cousin team Tri-County Paranormal, That building sits next to, if you don't remember, that little sliver of area that was the crawl space, not underneath, but in the back of the building. That sits next to the old theater that was actually the original building that burned down in this fire. And that building has underneath it that runs along that block line. And I'm pretty sure there's got to be a tunnel system that runs across the street to that convention center underneath, um, because it's got to be connected in some form or another. Like I said, with everything that was going on during Prohibition and the speakeasies. But there are old speakeasies locations underneath those buildings that run along Bridge Street. I've seen it myself, and there's some that run underneath right there at La French Twist. I know in my uh, our sister Lacey was there. She took us down there once. Give me a second. All right, school calling about my kids' yearbooks. Anyway, but as I said, we are going to be doing a lot of investigations here in town, and we are going to be getting more evidence and more solid proof that there are things that are going on in this town and in some of these buildings in Winnemucca. And I'm going to be happy once we get a chance to get some of this stuff documented and posted here on our page. The speakeasies were establishments that sold alcohol legally during the Prohibition, which lasted from 1920 to 33. One speakeasy was located in the basement downtown on the corner of Bridge Street and 2nd, along with a pink room that still holds clues to its use as an underground boxing ring. Who'd have thought, right? The corner of Bridge Street and Winnemucca Boulevard stood both El Dorado and the Humboldt hotels. The El Dorado burned to the ground in 1918, and just months after it was expanded to 4 stories. The Humboldt Hotel, also a multi-story building, burned in 1975. Wow. You can see this is a picture of, let's see if I can open it. All right. So we have acquired, here's the picture of the building. If you can't see it, let me get out of this and you guys can see what it looks like. So yeah, this is the brewery that sat there. And we did some excavations when I was doing construction here, in the alleyways just behind that area, and south of that, we found a lot of those old ceramic beer bottles that they would hold the beer in that would cork up. It'd have the metal thing on it and you'd stimp it down. But we found cases of those things, and those things are pretty expensive. They go for like $200 to $400 if you can get a nice, good shaped one that's still intact with no damage. And like I said, we have a bunch of those, but they came from this brewery. Um, the location that that's there, right there on Bridge Street. Um, just imagine all the chaos that happened. And I mean, you've got to understand something. People wore their pistols, people wore their guns. If somebody had a reasonable doubt of why, they were going to shoot somebody and they could plead their case in court, they probably got off scot free if there was no witnesses or anybody to sit there and say otherwise. And you understand that this was a different time. in American history. This was actually the wild, wild west, literally. You've had Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids, who Sundance kids who came through town and supposedly robbed the bank that's right there on, I think it's Third Street and Bridge, and the location is still there. And I would love to get into that place too, but when you never know, we'll see. Um, there is also the post office that is supposedly haunted. We're going to try and get into that location as well, but I don't know because it's a rural building. We can actually probably just go to the location itself and just do an investigation around the grounds. That whole Bridge Street, like you said, the Phillips furniture store. I don't know if we're going to be able to get into that one, but we're going to try. Um, we're going to get a lot of these locations, and as I said before, if there's anybody that is in town that has any friends or family members or anybody that is experiencing any paranormal activity in their location of their residence, or knows of anybody that has anything going on in their residency and would like to see if we could possibly be able to investigate it, if you guys are willing to allow us to do that. And as I said, if you do, just contact myself or my wife here on High Desert Paranormal Investigators, and we can try and facilitate that, and get a chance to come into your residency and see if we can capture anything, or your business, and do an investigation, because that's the whole reason why I set up this group, this team, 8 years ago, but actually got it established this year and got it going up and running with a name and everything else, is because I want to get this stuff going, man. I mean, this town has got so much stuff happening. It'd be great for people to actually be able to see this stuff and experience it. So that is the update for what we have going on here on the upcoming investigation. And as I said, I want to give a lot of credit and thanks to our cousin investigation team, Tri County. Thank you guys for reaching out and getting us in on this investigation with you guys. It's going to be really good. Can't wait to do it. And for everybody, I will give you an update on what the date is going to be. Man, my beard is looking crazy. I gotta fix this thing. Anyway, I will give you guys an update on when we're going to be doing it, the times and the date. And we will be doing a pre-investigation like I usually do. I try and give you guys a rundown of the location, take you there, show you around, and then if we can talk to anybody that works there or anybody that is there or the facilitators of the building, we'll try and do that and see what we can get. So thank you guys again, and as I said, I'll keep you guys updated, and see you guys soon. And if you have not liked, subscribed, or following the Facebook pages or the YouTube page, please, please, please get over to the YouTube page, like and follow it. You don't have to pay any subscriptions for anything. I mean, that's kind of crazy. I think once we start getting established and we get some stuff, then that stuff will come later. But what we capture, you guys will see, and we're going to pass it on to you guys so that way you guys can check it out. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much. And we will be back again with an update on the date and time for this next location at